My name is Rachel Dawson. I'm 36 years old, and at 1:40 in the morning on a freezing Tuesday, my father stood in my doorway holding a manila folder and asked me to confess to a crime my brother had committed. Inside were inspection reports, dates that hadn't happened, a signature line with my name typed neatly beneath it. 3 men are in the hospital, he said. The company survives if someone made an honest mistake. The company dies if it was Julian. My mother pushed past him into the hallway. You've always been quiet, Rachel. Nobody watches quiet people. That's why it has to be you. They still believed I was the family disappointment. The daughter who walked out of Dawson Build 6 years ago and vanished into some gray government office they never bothered to name. They had no idea that at 8 the next morning, I was scheduled to lead the state structural investigation into the very collapse they had come to bury. Before I tell you what they tried next, tell me in the comments, have you ever been the one your family chose to blame? I read every single story. My brother Julian was 34, the golden spine of the family construction company, his face on billboards for the Harbor Line pedestrian bridge. Our mother introduced him at charity dinners as the future of American building. Our father believed every problem could be solved if the right story reached the right people first. In their version of our family, Julian was the monument. I was the scaffolding. Useful, temporary, and meant to be removed. 3 nights earlier, the bridge's east staging platform collapsed at 11 p.m. 2 welders and a crane operator fell 40 feet. All 3 survived. One, a 26-year-old named Miguel Reyes, might never walk again. Julian had borrowed my name once before. When he crashed the company truck at 22, I was the one who confessed to the insurer. Every rescue taught him the same lesson. Rachel absorbs consequences. He stood behind our parents and said, "It's simple. You were the document reviewer that month. You mixed up the concrete test reports. An honest mistake. We hire you a lawyer, and in a year nobody remembers." "I don't work at Dawson Build anymore," I said. "My name isn't on that project." "That's the beauty of it," my father said. "You're on the old staff roster. We backdate your reviewer status. 1 signature, Rachel." "Who signed the release to pour without the cured test results?" I asked. Silence. "That's not the question," my mother said. "That is the only question." Julian's friendly mask slipped. "The supplier said the batch was fine verbally. I kept the schedule because the city threatened penalties. Are you happy now? You want me to be the villain so you finally matter in this family?" There it was. Even asking me to carry his crime, he made it about my jealousy. My phone vibrated on the counter. A secure alert from the state evidence vault. Platform mirror complete. Revision history preserved. The project was publicly funded, so every drawing change was mirrored nightly to a state server. Julian had approved the final reinforcement revision at 2:12 in the morning from his own login, with the concrete tests still marked pending. He had opened the lab's warning email 3 times before deleting it. He knew. And the record of him knowing was already sitting in a vault I controlled. "Give me your phone," my father said. "We need to see what's already out there." "You want me to hand over evidence?" "We want you to protect your brother." "No," I said. "You want me to protect your name using my life. Those are different things." My mother stepped closer. "Say you were tired that month. Say the reports looked identical. People believe tired, Rachel. Tired is human." "To whom?" I asked. "To the investigator who pulls the login history?" Julian laughed. "You? The state hired you to stamp permits. What are they going to do, audit you into importance?" My father set the folder on my table like a man arranging a deal. "Sign as the reviewer, and if you refuse, when the press starts digging, we'll tell them you left the company bitter, that you hated your brother's success, a resentful ex-employee with access to the documents. How does that sound as a story? They had already built my coffin in case I refused. They just needed me to lie down in it. For years, I would have signed. That was the sickness of my childhood. Affection was rationed, and I paid for it in silence. But 6 years ago, the night I left, I stopped paying. I walked to my desk and opened the middle drawer. I placed 3 things on the table: my professional engineer's license, my state investigator badge, and the assignment order for the Harbor Line collapse, with my name printed as lead. My mother picked up the badge as if it might burn her. "You're the investigation?" "I'm the investigation," I said. "Senior Structural Investigator, Office of Construction Safety, assigned the night of the collapse. I disclosed the family connection and requested a co-lead. Everything from here is documented." Julian's face went the color of wet cement. "You can make this go away. You control the report." "I control nothing. That's the point. The platform mirror, the lab emails, the login history, all of it was preserved before you walked in. I didn't save it to trap you, Julian. It saves itself. You just finally live in a world that keeps receipts." My father's voice dropped to the tone he used to close deals. "Rachel, family first. Whatever this is, we handle it inside these walls." "You handled it inside these walls the night you taught Julian that consequences belong to whoever loves him least." My mother began to cry. "He's your brother." "He's a grown man who left 3 men in the street for a schedule." By 8 a.m., I had recused myself from the file and turned over everything said in my kitchen to the Attorney General's office. A confession offered at home was still a confession. I did not feel powerful. I felt the specific grief of a woman watching her family choose the lie one more time and discovering that this time she was no longer available. Julian was charged with criminal negligence and filing false statements. My father was charged with obstruction. Investigators photographed the backdated folder before he could pick it up again. My mother was never charged, but the boards that once printed her name quietly stopped. Miguel Reyes began rehabilitation in the spring. I sent his family a letter apologizing only for the industry that hurt him, signed with my name and title, hidden this time from no one. The lesson was simple. A family that hands you the blame is not confused about your value. They are precise about it. Loyalty that only flows one direction is not love. It is logistics. So tell me honestly, if you were Rachel, would you have signed to keep the peace? Or would you have let the receipts speak? Tell me in the comments where in the world you're listening from. This fictional story was created for entertainment, education, and dramatic reflection only. If it reminded you of a role you were assigned in your own family, remember, you can resign from a role you never chose.